Hello and welcome to another episode of Jake's Takes. This week I'm breaking down the Week 10 matchup between the Washington Spirit and Sky Blue FC. And if you don't know me, I'm Jake, and I just put my baby to sleep, so I'm trying to be a little quiet while I do this. So hopefully you can understand me, and hopefully I don't wake the baby. So we will start right away with just going into things. For those of you new to the series, it's a kind of a long form look at the game of the week that we follow on Twitter. This week happens to be the big matchup between Washington Spirit and Sky Blue, which actually turned into a fairly big result when you look at the outcome of things. But before we get into the details of the game, we'll start with the starting lineup. So last week I looked at Washington Spirit's big 2-0 victory over Orlando Pride, also at home. And again, they went with this 4-3-3 with a lot of speed up top in Bonini and Ortega and Dunn. Very similar outlook for this game. The midfield trio of Matheson, Nairn, and Huster are really looking to get the ball forward into those three strikers and get in behind. And really, it was the same game plan as that they had against Orlando. Maybe not quite, as direct as they were, getting in behind, but keeping possession, drawing out the defense, and kind of trying to pass around them. So, same lineup, not a lot changed. For Sky Blue, this is what we got. It's a 4-2-3-1. You can see Skrosky's been moved out to the wing. Grubka's come in there. And actually, we had Aaron Simon in the back line of this game, and they actually pushed Kelly O'Hara up into midfield. I think that was probably a decision because Kelly is about to go away for Olympic duty. Might as well get Aaron Simon another game of rep to get her settled into that position and get the back line communicating and gelling properly, because O'Hara is going to be gone for a long time with the Olympic team, but really she's the only loss for the entire team. So if they can get her into a position where she's going to be dangerous for this game, as well as build some chemistry along that back line, why don't we do that? So that's my opinion on why they made that decision. It was really interesting. We see that 4-2-3-1 in the game as they set up, but really when they're in defensive shape, we actually saw the shape kind of shift from 4-2-3-1 to more of a 4-4-1-1. O'Hara and Galton really dropped in. Those lines between the defensive line and the midfield line, very compact, very hard to make lots of passes in between. Little has dropped in a little bit. She had another person in that midfield to break things up, and really Natasha Kai was up on her own, waiting to initiate things. And this was the first game of the season. Sky Blue went to Seattle Reign and nobody gave them a chance, and this was exactly what they did against Seattle Reign to keep them off the scoreboard until later in the game. Anyway, they came away with a 2-1 victory, but no one had beaten Seattle at Memorial Stadium ever, and so that was a huge result for them. This is kind of the same game plan on the road against an opponent who never really loses at home. It's a compact 4-4-2, essentially 4-4-1-1, or a 4-2-3-1, depending on how you want to look at things. But keeping the lines compact, keeping the play in front of them, as you'll see later on in this presentation. So we'll get right into it. Game action. This was actually fairly early, exactly like the Seattle game. They weren't necessarily getting a ton of chances early in the game, but they made them count. And the ball starts deep with Caroline Stanley in goal, and we move forward. Just a long ball forward. Megan Oyster gets underneath of it and plays upfield. Move forward. They collect the ball again. Here we can see that really that back line for Sky Blue, keeping everything in front of them. It doesn't really look like a dangerous play at this point. But as we move forward, what we'll see is Allie Krieger is going to get isolated 1v1 with Leah Galton. And, it's not that Leah Galton is spectacular technically. It's just, I think it was a pace issue. Leah Galton's explosive pace in this situation really allowed her to get into that space behind Allie Krieger, who had pinched up just a smidge as the ball got pushed forward. And, here we go. She cuts inside a little bit, and we're going to see the ball fall to Raquel Rodriguez. And as Raquel Rodriguez collects this ball, top of the box, she gets her head down. There's no one really putting pressure in front of her. That back line is staying pretty compact there at the top of the 18. She has a couple of yards of space to really pick her head up and hit a really great shot. And, Raquel Rodriguez, in the games that she's been in, I think she's been a difference maker for Sky Blue. It's kind of been a stop and start season for her with injuries, but at the same time, when she gets on the field, she makes a lot of plays happen. And, it's great for her to get this first goal out of the way. And, I think a lot of people unfairly have been criticizing her throughout the season, in the rookie, people really look at the rookie class and, people picking out players like Carson Pickett and Rachel Daly, who, they're doing well and they're getting minutes, but, are they really winning their team points? And I think this is an occasion where Raquel Rodriguez, she had the player of the match performance in my eyes, the way that she scored this goal and the way that she kind of dictated pace of play throughout the match. So we can move forward a little bit. After this goal, we really see Sky Blue settling into this defensive shape that I was talking about earlier. 4 in the back there. No one is going to be able to get in behind. As the ball starts with Matheson, who passes it wide to Allie Krieger, I believe, and Raquel Rodriguez had put pressure on her, so she stepped forward. Now the ball goes wide. Leah Galton puts pressure on Allie Krieger, and Raquel Rodriguez drops in and keeps the line compact. This is classic 4-4-2 defensive shape. As one person steps up, the winger pinches over. As the ball goes wide, the winger pinches over. Center mid drops back in. Notice there's only about 5 yards of space in between the lines. Last game, Toya Huster really was able to pick her head up and find penetrating passes, and that I really highlighted her play as being something critical in the build-up for a couple of those Washington goals. And this game, it was the tale of these compact lines not allowing Washington to get in between the lines, get into dangerous positions. Everything was played in front of the back line of Sky Blue. As we move forward, we see that happening more and more. This is actually the 42nd minute. This is actually a big chance for Sky Blue, who, on the other hand, when they get possession, it wasn't just hoof it long. They actually were able to build some possession out of this. And, a lot of it was based on the play of Raquel Rodriguez. And here she goes winning this ball. And she has the confidence to hold the ball up, wait for the right moment, make the right pass. She's going to play out wide to Erica Skrosky eventually here. But really, it's just her holding the ball up. Erica Skrosky gets it, and then there's this little pocket of space she's going to fall back into. Even though there are 4 defenders who could potentially collapse in on her, she's got the intelligence and wherewithal to hold that ball up and really keep the play moving, because she turns and looks forward and she finds a penetrating pass on her, on her end, up the field to, I believe, Taylor Lytle. As we move forward, it's just simple in between the line penetrating pass, gets it forward, plays it wide. As we can see, the ball is going to go wide. Gets the ball down the line. It's going to get crossed in. Natasha Kai gets the ball in the middle and, really when you get a striker in this position with that much space, you really expect them to score. And she's really probably disappointed with her miss on the play. And really, this was a great passing build-up play. Raquel Rodriguez holds the ball up, plays a nice pass, gets the ball back, plays a penetrating pass, gets 1-2 outside, down the line. This is a great build-up play for Sky Blue, and it was something they were able to find space in pockets on that wing between Allie Krieger and Allie Krieger or Alyssa Kleiner and whoever the striker, in this case Benini, or on the other side and Crystal Dunn. There's that pocket of space they were able to really exploit and really draw out either the wing back forward or finding that space for them to play through. Second half. Here we go again. Actually, still in the first half here. Again, here's that back four. I believe that's Francisca Ortega on the ball. Somebody pushes forward to get pressure on her immediately. Notice there are numbers coming back to help out. Ball goes as she dribbles wide. They push her away from goal. They get in front of her. Everything is in front of that back four. Nobody is getting in behind. There's no penetrating pass. Crystal Dunn was not allowed to get in behind in this game. And whenever there was a really dangerous chance, Rampone or Grubka or whoever it was, they were always there to stand up the cross or, force the players wide. It wasn't an opportunity where they were running in on goal because of a devastating through pass. So that was really the story of the first half. As we move forward into the second half, we're already getting to the second goal here. Another play where it starts just with a innocuous goal kick. You think, nothing really happening here, but actually it squirts up the middle to goes unexpectedly on the ground, kind of up the middle, squirting through a couple of players. Raquel Rodriguez tried to play out, but it went through her, went through the Washington midfield and into Taylor Lytle, I believe that is right there. And as we move forward a little bit, she's going to play in that girl, Leah Galton, again. And as you can see, Megan Oyster puts pressure on her, which actually forces the ball to go a little bit wider than she really wanted. And really, Galton could have been played into space, but fair play to the defense from Washington Spirit, forced her wide and allowed them to get back into position a little bit better. And as we can see, there's that back four. Galton gets the ball in that space between the wing striker and that wing back. So there's just this pocket of space, and either you have to have Matheson or whoever's one of the three midfielders pinch over and take her up, or you need Allie Krieger to step a little bit higher and get pressure on that ball. Because really, there's only one person to pick out, and it's Sam Kerr. And you would have to, you would expect the only way they could make this play work is if she plays a pinpoint cross, and she does. And unfortunately for them, Sam Kerr does a really great job of getting a foot on it. She actually kind of does this little scissor, kind of a scissor kick, gets both feet off the ground to make contact. And, really the ball's going to go near post. And when you're Steph LeBay, you're probably a little upset that you didn't stop this goal, because you get beat on the post they're standing near. It wasn't a rocket of a shot from the top of the 18. It kind of dribbled past her, and you actually see Megan Oyster kind of shrug her shoulders like, what the heck just happened there? Like, how did you get beat on this ball? So it's a case where it was a fantastic through pass for the assist, and if Kerr did a great job of getting on it. But really, if you're Washington, you really are questioning why is that ball trickling into our goal. And at 2-0, more of the same from Sky Blue. Ball gets out wide. They're just keeping their space. They get immediate pressure on the ball, keeping those lines nice and compact. No space in between. Everything's in front of them or out wide. Nobody is getting through that gut up the middle. Actually, this is actually the buildup for the goal. So, it starts really well for them. Bonini was on the ball back in the last play. And I believe that's Tori Huster steps forward and provides a little bit of support. Matheson I've highlighted in the middle because she's actually going to make the run in on goal at this point. And, really center mid from Sky Blue, I believe, is Sarah Killian. She probably should be picking up Diana Matheson on this play. Bonini gets the ball again. It's cutting inside, looking for that cross. If you're a Sky Blue defender, you're probably thinking, okay, I have to mark Crystal Dunn. Probably not thinking I have to mark little Diana Matheson, who's 5'1", I believe, 5 foot nothing, as she streaks through the middle. But again, I highlighted this last week. Matheson and Nairn are really driving the offense when they make those late third player runs into the box. That front three really get in there quickly, but then the trailing runs from Matheson and Nairn or Joanna Lohman, I believe, is on at this point. They really are the ones who are getting the goals because people aren't picking them up on their runs. So as we move forward on this play, clicked the wrong one. Here we go. And again, this is a great, she did really well, make that run, find that space, get this header. And again, if I had to be nitpicky on this, it's headed down at the goalie. And I don't know why. I don't know how she, didn't quite collect this ball. The bounce threw her off a little bit, but it hits her in the arm and then bounces in. So 2 goals on this game really were goalie error. You couldn't fault LeBay for missing Raquel Rodriguez's strike, but really, this was the only time that Washington were able to get that penetrating run in behind and really connect. And as we see later, in the 84th minute, here we go. The ball goes back to, I believe that's Ali Krieger. They've switched to a kind of a three back line and extra striker on the field now. But still, if you look at there's the ball in the middle of the screen. Look at the determination from that Sky Blue defender, really going to track that ball down, not let Washington have an easy pass. That was the fight in Sky Blue throughout the match, and really helped them win this game. And again, Washington are keeping possession, trying to advance up the field. But look at the numbers back from Sky Blue. Their collective defensive shape really helped win this game. And again, that's why they're upsetting these big teams on the road, just because of their collective shape and collective team play. And shout out to the traveling fans there at Cloud9. It looked like you guys are having a great time during the game. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you get another chance. I think you have one more game at least against Washington this season, and these games have been very enjoyable so far. So we'll definitely look forward to seeing them in the future. So that is it for my take this week. I will be back next week with hopefully not too big of a scoreline between Seattle Reign and the Boston Breakers over in Seattle. So hopefully everyone enjoys their 4th of July weekend, and I will see you next week.